You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Marcus Aurelius. Most people walk around like slaves in invisible chains, whispering to themselves that life is unfair, that they were dealt a bad hand, that someone else is to blame for their misery. Harsh truth. No one is coming to save you. You can cry about your past, or you can conquer your future. But you can't do both. Playing the victim is the surest way to stay powerless. Small and forgotten, the world doesn't reward self-pity, it crushes it. Life is a brutal arena, and only those who stand tall, no matter the pain, earn respect. This isn't about being emotionless. It's about refusing to be ruled by emotions that drag you down like chains on your soul. You either rise like Marcus Aurelius or rot like a coward in your excuses. Most people don't even realize they're enslaved, not by chains or bars, but by their own beliefs. They say things like, "That's just how I am," or "It's not my fault," as if those phrases are shields, but they're shackles. They trade their potential for the comfort of blame. They stay angry, resentful, weak, because taking responsibility would mean facing the terrifying truth they've been wasting their life. But the Stoics had no time for this nonsense. Marcus Aurelius ruled the world's most powerful empire while his life was crumbling behind the scenes. His friends betrayed him, his health failed him, his enemies plotted constantly, but not once did he say, "This isn't fair." He stood tall in the storm, because that's what strength demands. You're either sharpening your sword every day or letting it rust in your excuses. There is no neutral ground. Every time you avoid discomfort, every time you dodge accountability, every time you hide behind life's unfair, you're handing your power to the enemy. And make no mistake, your enemy is within. The weak voice that wants you to play small, the lazy impulse that says tomorrow, the fear that whispers, "What if you fail?" That voice isn't you, that voice is your prison, and every moment you tolerate it, it gets louder, but every moment you defy it, you get stronger. Rise now, or stay shackled forever. Picture two men. One gets rejected, loses money, feels pain, and collapses into a spiral of anger, self-loathing, and endless blame. The other, he endures, observes, adapts. He writes in his journal every night, not about what the world did to him, but how he responded. One man is a slave to emotion, the other is a master of himself. The first begs for sympathy, the second demands excellence from himself. One blames the storm, the other becomes the anchor. Which are you becoming day by day? Which one are you feeding with your habits, thoughts, and mindset? The first man hits snooze 10 times before crawling out of bed, already defeated. He scrolls through his phone, chasing cheap dopamine, comparing his life to people who don't even know he exists. He calls it self-care when he avoids discomfort, boundaries when he dodges responsibility, healing when he indulges, weakness. He drinks to escape. He lies to feel better. He complains to anyone who will listen, hoping for validation, never accountability. His confidence is fake, built on likes, not discipline. And every time life hits him, he shatters, because his identity is paper thin. He's not living, he's reacting. And the worst part, he knows it. Now look at the other man. He's up before dawn, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. He journals before he trains, writing with brutal honesty, asking himself, where did I fail? Where can I grow? He doesn't look for pity, he looks for pressure, because pressure forges warriors. He works when no one is watching, studies when others sleep, sharpens his mind like a blade. He treats his pain like a teacher, not a curse. He's not unfeeling, he just doesn't let his feelings rule him. Every setback he faces becomes fuel. Every hardship becomes another page in his legacy. You can't break him because he's already faced himself. One man builds excuses, the other builds armor. One wants to be understood, the other wants to be dangerous, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. One uses his past as a prison, the other as a forge. They both feel fear, pain, doubt, but only one chooses to face it. That's the key. Not the absence of emotion, but the command of it. One man flinches every time life raises its fist. The other stares it down, saying, "Is that all you've got?" One dies every day in his mind. The other is reborn in fire, forged in silence, hardened by choice. Which man are you training to become? Because this isn't just theory, it's identity. It's how you show up when no one's clapping. It's how you speak to yourself when everything is falling apart. Are you the man who needs rescuing, or the one who becomes his own salvation? Marcus Aurelius didn't write Meditations to be famous. He wrote it to survive the chaos of being emperor, father, warrior, and man. He stared down death, betrayal, sickness, and still chose virtue over victimhood. You must do the same. Every day, every moment, every decision, you're sculpting a man, and he will either be a monument of discipline or a tombstone of regret. This is the heart of Stoicism. You are not a victim. No one can ruin your peace unless you allow it. Marcus Aurelius faced plagues, betrayal, war, and death, yet he ruled Rome and ruled himself. He didn't whine about what was unfair. He wrote meditations to command his own mind. That's the real battlefield, your inner world. You don't need control over people or circumstances. You need control over your thoughts, your reactions, your spirit. Life will hit you. That's guaranteed. But you get to decide whether you rise like fire or fall like ash. But here's the catch. Your enemy isn't out there. It's not your boss, your ex, your childhood, or the algorithm. It's the undisciplined version of you that wakes up late, seeks validation, avoids hard truths, and chokes when life demands strength. That version of you is loud, impulsive, fragile, and it's costing you everything. Marcus fought external wars, but his real battle was against his own ego, his fear, his desire for comfort, his urge to lash out. And guess what? You're in the exact same war. Every day you wake up, you're either conquering yourself or becoming a slave. Look around. We live in a time of emotional chaos. People are offended by everything and responsible for nothing. Attention spans are dying. Outrage is currency. But Marcus didn't have time to be offended. He had an empire to hold together and a soul to strengthen. He taught that our lives are what our thoughts make them. That means if your life is trash, you've been thinking like garbage. Harsh? Yes, but freeing, because it means you have the power to rebuild from the inside out. Not through whining, but through will. You want peace? Earn it in the battlefield of the mind. You want strength? Build it in the silence when no one is clapping. This world won't hand you inner power. You have to rip it from the jaws of distraction, fear, and weakness. That's what the Stoics understood, that suffering is not your enemy, attachment is. Fear is not your problem, your reaction to fear is. You have everything you need to endure, adapt, and rise. But not if you keep letting your feelings be your master. Either you lead your emotions or you get led into destruction by them. There is no middle ground. So stop running from difficulty and start respecting it. Every hardship is a chance to prove your character. Every insult is an invitation to rise above. Every delay, every setback, every painful moment is a gift, if you face it like a Stoic. Marcus didn't want an easy life. He wanted a worthy one. And so should you. Drop the victim identity like a snake sheds dead skin. It's not who you are, it's who you've been told to be, and today is the day you become something greater. Most people don't get this because they're addicted to comfort and validation. They want the world to change, not themselves. They scroll, complain, compare, numbing their mind instead of sharpening it. They think strength is about appearing tough, not being disciplined when no one's watching. Victimhood has become trendy, a sick badge of honor in a culture that worships weakness. But Stoicism doesn't care about your feelings. It cares about your freedom, freedom from chaos, freedom from emotional slavery. And until you take full ownership of your mind, you'll stay stuck, loud, bitter, broken. They want applause for surviving, not respect for overcoming. They think being offended is a strength, as if their sensitivity is some sacred weapon. But here's the truth. Being easily offended is just weakness in disguise. It's an emotional leash. And every time someone tugs it, you bark. You want power? Then stop letting random people, headlines, and comments live rent-free in your head. The man who needs approval is already a slave. The Stoic doesn't chase applause. He chases mastery. He sharpens his mind in silence and moves through the world unshaken. You don't rise by getting softer. You rise by getting tougher, more composed, more unshakable. The world is addicted to noise and distraction because silence is where truth lives. And most people are terrified of truth. The truth that they're not doing enough. The truth that they've betrayed their potential. The truth that they could be dangerous, excellent, disciplined, but they've settled for being liked. So they scroll, they blame, they cope, and they call that living. Meanwhile, Marcus Aurelius was waking up every day to face death, war, betrayal, and still writing about peace. He didn't need TikTok therapy or validation from strangers. He needed his mind, and that was enough. What's your excuse? Stop pretending you're powerless when the real problem is you've been undisciplined. You've let your emotions sit in the driver's seat, and now you wonder why your life is crashing. Control isn't something you're born with. It's forged in the fires of hardship, repetition, and self-respect. You earn inner peace by battling chaos, not avoiding it. So when life punches you in the gut, you get up, straighten your spine, and say, "Good, another rep." Every hardship is a training ground. Every insult, every failure, every delay, it's a forge. But you have to show up to the fire. Stop flinching, start forging, because deep down, you already know the truth. You know you were built for more than Netflix binges and empty validation. You were made to carry weight, to suffer with purpose, to lead yourself like a warrior king. Your bones crave discipline. Your soul aches for honor, and yet you've been numbing yourself, hoping comfort will give you meaning. It won't. The path to peace isn't padded, it's paved with fire. Choose it, and when you do, you'll stop asking for strength and start becoming it. So how do you rise like Marcus Aurelius? Step 1. Journal daily. Write not what happened, but how you responded. Make it a habit of reflection and course correction. Step 2. Embrace discomfort. Go toward the pain, not away from it. Cold. Showers, hard workouts, deep focus. Step 3. Control the narrative. Replace why me with what now every single time. Step 4. Study the Stoics like war manuals. Read meditations, letters from a Stoic, discourses like your life depends on it. Step 5. Stop negotiating with weakness. When the alarm rings, get up. When the voice says quit, go harder. You're not here to coast. You're here to become. You want to journal like a Roman emperor? Then stop writing fluff. Your journal isn't a therapy session. It's a battlefield report. What did you do today? Where did you lose control? Where did you rise? What thoughts poisoned your focus? And what virtues did you apply to kill them? Don't write like a victim. Write like a general documenting the war within. Every page should be a blueprint for victory, raw, honest, unfiltered. This is how you sharpen your awareness and dominate your reactions. You don't write for comfort, you write to build command. Now let's talk about pain, real, voluntary, deliberate pain. Most men today are soft because they run from discomfort like it's death itself, but the Stoic doesn't run. He chooses the hard road because he knows that's where strength is forged. Take cold showers, not because it's trendy, but because it trains you to enter suffering without fear. Lift heavy, move fast, push past the voice that says stop. Read when your brain wants distraction. Meditate when your soul screams for stimulation. Train in silence. The more voluntarily you suffer, the less the world can break you. If you want mental armor, build it under fire. The narrative you repeat is the life you create. If you keep telling yourself you're unlucky, broken, or not good enough, guess what? You're right. The Stoics didn't entertain lies. They confronted reality and rewrote the story with power. Why me is the anthem of the defeated. What now is the war cry of the resilient. Whatever happens to you, own it, claim it, transmute it. Make pain your teacher, not your excuse. You are the author of your internal dialogue. Make it read like the rise of a king. And when I say study the Stoics like war manuals, I'm not talking about casual reading, I mean obsession. Highlight every line that punches you in the soul. Memorize the passages that feel like they were written just for you. Apply their teachings daily, in traffic, in heartbreak, in fatigue. Aurelius ruled the Roman Empire while journaling about humility and mortality. Seneca trained his mind in wealth and exile. Epictetus was born a slave and still became one of the freest minds in history. You have no excuse. Read like your future depends on it, because it does. Every page is a weapon, every lesson is a shield. Master them or be mastered by life. Because when you stop seeing yourself as a victim, everything changes. The world doesn't get easier, you get stronger. Pain becomes fuel. Failure becomes data. Insults become tests. Discomfort becomes training. Life becomes a battleground for greatness. You stop running and start standing. You stop whining and start winning. That's when you realize you never needed permission to rise. You just needed to decide. But deciding is only the beginning. The world will test you the moment you make that choice. Friends will doubt you. Temptation will whisper in your ear. Your old self, the weaker version, will claw at your ankles, begging you to come back to the familiar, the easy, the average. But you must burn the bridge behind you. Becoming your strongest self requires sacrifice of comfort, of excuses, of the false identity you've clung to for years. Marcus Aurelius didn't become great in peace. He was forged in chaos. And so will you, not by waiting, but by walking into the fire with your head held high. You must remember this. The war is never outside. You fight it in your soul. Every day you choose who leads your life. Discipline or impulse, courage or cowardice. Your mind will scream for relief, but relief is the death of greatness. Most men are looking for an escape. You build endurance. Most fold when life says no. You keep moving forward until yes is inevitable. You don't break. You bend, adapt, rise. That's what makes you rare. That's what makes you dangerous. Because when you become dangerous to your excuses, your demons start losing their grip. Fear can't command you when you no longer run. Pain can't shake you when you've trained for war. You move with intention. You speak with conviction. You build, break, rebuild, stronger each time. Stoicism isn't some dead philosophy. It's a blueprint for the modern warrior, a way to dominate your inner world while the outer world tries to break you. So when others panic, you plan. When others crumble, you command. That's the edge. And it's earned daily. And if you're still listening, I know this message was meant for you. Not the soft, passive version of you, but the real one. The one buried under comfort, fear, and noise. You were born to lead your own mind. You were meant to rise like an emperor of your own fate. So step forward, claim your strength, own your thoughts, lead your life. And leave a comment telling me what old belief you're burning today. Hit like, hit subscribe, and join this army of those who rise, not once, but every damn day. So here's your challenge. Burn the script of victimhood. Write a new one built on discipline, resilience, and unshakable inner power. Rise like Marcus Aurelius. Train your mind like a warrior. Live like your soul is on fire. No more excuses. No more delay. If this hit you in the chest, if this woke something up inside you, prove it. Like, comment, and subscribe. And tell me in the comments, what excuse dies today?